going to go over today a full installation of the TV Shield Pro. One that we're going to be working with today is the TV Shield Pro 55 to 60 inch. This is our generation 2, so the newer model came out in basically 2025, end of 2025. So this is TVS Pro 5560 generation 2. We're going to quickly go over tools needed. In your instruction manual, you'll see that you need a stud finder. We don't have one here. That's going to be for the separately sold mount, put the mount on the wall. So I don't have one here. But same thing with the cordless drill. That's actually going to be for installing the mount. So for the enclosure, a tape measure, a 9mm socket. You're going to need a bubble level, also Phillips head screwdriver, and a pair of needle nose pliers is helpful when we get to the little E-clips. So those are really the only tools that you need. All right, step one, you're just going to remove the front frame from the base plate. To do that, you're going to go ahead and take the keys, which should have been in your instruction manual, tape to the front of the unit. Go ahead and get the keys in, unlock on both sides, and then we are going to go ahead and lift up. And we're actually going to shift the front frame off of the hinges. You have 3 hinges on the unit. There's a female and male. You're just going to shift it to the right and go ahead and take it off. Set it down. That's step one. Go ahead and remove the white box from inside. This is going to have all of your hardware, for mounting, your gas shocks, and some other parts that you're going to use for installation. All right, going to quickly go over the parts identification. I have the internal mounts, which are going to attach to your TV, end up attaching to the internal mount. Your gas shocks to help you lift the front. 4 1-inch nylon spacers. These are only used for flush mounting to the wall, which is not a recommended way. A recommended way is on an external mount, but if you wanted to flush mount it to the wall for additional security, we do provide the spacers to be able to do that. We also have the hardware pack, which has your M4, M5, M6, and M8 screws and hardware that you would need to install the television to the internal mount. You also will have 3 E-clips. These are small 3/16" E-clips. Make sure you keep those. Those are going to go on the hinges when we get to that step to keep them in place. And you should have 2 sets of keys. Also, the other thing that comes with this for the flush mount application, only if you're using it for a wood stud application. If you're using it for a concrete, brick wall, block wall, you want to get your own separately sold hardware. But if you're going into wood stud and you are doing the flush mount application, you can go ahead and use additional hardware that we supply with the enclosure. So those are all the parts. All right, step 2, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and remove cable pass-through hood. I just need my socket wrench with a 9mm socket. I'm going to go ahead and remove the 4 nuts that are on here. And we are using a smart TV, so we're not running any HDMI, RCA cables, anything to the television. So this one, we're just literally going to run the power supply out. So I'm going to go ahead and remove that, run my power supply. Reinstall the hood and go ahead and put the 4 nuts back on. All right, this is step 3, which is the base plate installation. It's right here, so that's your back plate of the enclosure. We've already went ahead and installed our mount, our separately sold mount that we're going to use. It's just a flat mount. You can use any flat mount, tilt mount, full motion mount, ceiling mount. You just want to make sure that your mount has the correct weight capacity to be able to hold the enclosure and also your television. So we're going to take the vertical arms from our flat mount. Pretty simple. We're just going to install them on the base plate using 8mm hardware from your separately sold mount. So you have 4 female threaded inserts here. And you're just going to go ahead and line up your vertical arms and install the 8mm screws. You're going to go ahead and do that all the way around. All right, this is step 3, part 2. We've already installed our vertical brackets on the back of the base plate. Now what we're going to do is just lift this up and hang it on the wall, just like you would any television. So. Just like that, step 3. All right, so this is step 4. What you're going to do is you're going to want to set your TV face down. Be careful not to crack your screen. You want to either set it down on on definitely a flat surface, potentially on a sheet, or we're using the cardboard here from the box as a underlayment. make sure there's nothing in the middle, make sure there's nothing that's gonna crack your television. What we're gonna do first is go ahead and measure the total height of your television. It's sitting at 30.5. And then what we're gonna do is actually measure to the center of the television. The reason we're doing this is so we can actually center our mounting brackets in the center of the television vertically, so it's centered in the enclosure once we install it in the enclosure. If you just mount this anywhere, once you go to put it in the enclosure, it's gonna be off center vertically. So we're gonna measure the TV, 30.5. I'm gonna go ahead and go then 15.25 to find the center of my television. Roughly 15.25 here. I'm gonna make a mark. And then what we're gonna do is, on your bracket, you've got a center line, which is the center of the bracket. We're gonna go ahead and line that center line up with the mounting holes on the back of the TV. This was a kind of a perfect instance where TV manufacturers sometimes get really crazy and they are putting the VESA pattern way off center. So most televisions, the VESA pattern is center, maybe off center, top, bottom, just a little bit. This manufacturer decided that they were gonna take their VESA pattern, which is maybe a 300 by 300, and put it probably 2.5 inches off the bottom. So unfortunately, the bracket is not long enough then to hit both holes on the television. We have a fix for that. So what we have, if you need them, you can contact us, is we have extenders. So we have extenders that can extend the bottom of the bracket or extenders that can extend the top of the bracket in this situation. It's probably about 1 out of 1,000, maybe 1 out of 500 that the manufacturer decided to be bonkers and put it way off center. But we're gonna show you what you can do in that situation. So we have extenders that we can get out to you. Simple, you're just gonna go ahead and take the extender. We need bottom extenders because again, we're trying to line up center of the TV to the holes, and I'm short here. So I'm gonna go ahead and just add the additional extender with, there's already threaded PEMs in it. We're gonna go ahead and install the nuts with a, I think it's a 13 millimeter socket, and go ahead and get that installed. We've gone ahead and installed the extender because our application here. Now you also do have multiple hook locations on your vertical brackets. So if you're just a little bit off, or you're an inch or an inch and a half off, you can actually move up, which means you can move the bracket down off center or up off center about 2 inches. Now we were about 2.5 inches, so I just went ahead and installed the extenders. So all we're gonna do is find the correct hardware for your television. We supply you with the M4, 5, 6, and 8 hardware. I've identified that we're using the M6 hardware on this, so now I'm just gonna install the vertical bracket on the back of the television and install all 4 screws. All right, a couple of tips real fast before we hang the TV. The final step of installing the vertical brackets on the television, installing the television. This mount does have adjustment. So if your TV is off, or if this came and it wasn't perfect for leveling your TV, it does have adjustment. You may need to loosen these screws up just a little bit to be able to do that, but then you can actually shift this, pivot this way. Another thing that I just wanted to go over quickly is, this usually has pretty good, I could say, resistance in collapsing and swiveling and all that stuff. If you're putting a really heavy television in here and you also have the unit at a tilt, you just want to make sure that those pivot points are tightened. So you have different pivot points here, here, and also at the mount, just so the TV doesn't fall forward out of its own weight. If you have the unit up high and you have the entire enclosure at a tilt, you want to make sure that those pivot points are tightened down pretty tight so the TV doesn't want to shift itself forward. So we're going to go ahead and now install the television. Pretty simple, just like any TV on a mount. We'll go ahead and lift it up. We're going to go on the center hook. Just like that. You go ahead and set the TV back. And I'm gonna just make sure that I'm kind of centered correctly from left to right, which I need to come over just a little bit. That's about it. Once I'm there and I'm centered, I also wanted to check, and I already know I'm centered vertically. What you're gonna wanna do is come in and lift up these locking mechanisms. So you just shift it up and go ahead and tighten it with the Phillips head screwdriver. Now this is step 6. What we're going to do is reinstall the front frame. What we're going to do is we're actually going to install and reconnect the hinges. So you have a male hinge and a female hinge. Basically all we're going to do is lift it up, get it lined up, and shift it over onto the hinges. So we're gonna go ahead and install the E-clips. This is where it's easy to use needle nose pliers. You're gonna put an E-clip in each hinge right at the end. So you're just gonna go ahead and slide it right into the slot that's there. And go ahead and do that on the other ones. What we're gonna do is we're gonna install the gas shocks. Cylinder up. So you wanna make sure that you're installing with the cylinder up. These are ball joint stud receivers. So you're literally just gonna pop it on, pop this side on, and repeat that for the other side. Step 8, we're just gonna go ahead and connect the fan controller. Just taking the cord that's on the back plate and just gonna plug it into the back. Pretty simple. Step 9 is really just final prep. You wanna remove the protective coverings from the inside and the outside of the enclosure. So we got it all shut. I noticed that the TV was just adjusted back on that side. So of course the TV is adjustable. Another thing that is just a kind of a tip, you want to get the TV as close to the front panel as you can. That helps prevent glare, helps the TV cut through the anti-glare front panel. But you also want to have it at least a ½ inch back so you get correct airflow. So I'm just back a little bit on this side. Just kind of go in and adjust it out a little bit, get it to where I want it. Enough, and lock it down. Now it's all set. Last thing I want to do, especially in an outdoor application, is adjust my brightness, contrast, backlight, things like that. The brighter the television, basically the easier it is to cut through any kind of glare or reflection on the TV, especially really in a bright environment. So you can just go to your settings. You want to adjust your backlight, brightness, kick it up. You can kind of adjust these things on your own to see what the best picture for you is. But that's it. That's how you install the TV Shield Pro.